There are four major types of multiplication in vector: dot product, cross product, your scalar triple product, your vector triple product. We have seen some properties based on dot product and cross product. We have also seen few examples based on dot product. Let's revise cross product, and we'll start with examples which have been asked previously in your IIT JEE exam. Is my voice audible to you? So Lokesh, Neha, Omkar, Pranali, Rutvi, Tanvi, Prathamesh. Is my voice audible to you? Okay, there's a yes from Neha. So let's revise briefly. Yesterday we have seen few properties. We know that A cross B is not equal to B cross A. A cross B is equal to negative sign and then B cross A. However, for dot product, I can say that A dot B is equal to B dot A. Both dot product and cross product is commutative and associative in nature. Value of I cross I, J cross J, and K cross K is 0. And in case of dot product, values of I dot I, J dot J, and K cross K is equal to 1. Cross product follows your circular pattern. That means I cross J is equivalent to K, or J cross K is equivalent to I. And if I go in anti-clockwise direction, then J cross I would be equal to minus of K. There's a difference of minus sign. If my cross product is 0, that is A cross B is 0, then I can say that my vectors A bar and B bar are parallel to each other. And if my dot product is 0, that is A bar dot B bar is 0, then I can say that my two vectors A bar and B bar are perpendicular to each other. Value for A bar dot B bar is AB cos theta, and value for A bar cross B bar is AB sin theta, multiplied with n cap, where n cap is a perpendicular vector to both your A bar and B bar. Area of triangle is equal to half into the two sides of the triangle, that is A bar cross B bar. If I want to find area of parallelogram is going to be twice of my area of triangle. Therefore, that can be written as my determinant of A bar cross B bar. I can also find area of parallelogram using one more formula, which is half into diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. So let's see few questions which are based on these properties. Is my screen visible to you all? Type in yes so that I can continue. Okay, Omkar, Pranali, and Rutugi is saying yes. So perfect. If value of A cross B is given as B cross A, we know that A cross B is equal to minus of B cross A. But however, if A cross B and B cross A are equal, then which of the following is true? That A and B are same, or is it not possible, or is it going to be true always, or value of A bar and B bar are never going to be? So simple, I can start with what I know. A cross B is equal to minus of B cross A. But it is given that A cross B is equal to B cross A. Therefore, comparing, I am going to get value of A and B as same, equal. Therefore, given is A cross B, which is equal to minus of B cross A. But instead of B cross A, I can replace it with A cross B. Shifting to other side, I can say that A is equal to B. Angle between the vectors a bar and b bar is theta, and if the cross product is given a cross b is equal to a dot b, then I have to find the value of term theta. What is the relation between a cross b and your a dot b? I can say that a cross b the whole square plus your dot product square is equal to magnitude of a square into b square. This comes because when you're going to take square of a cross b, formula for a cross b is ab sine theta. Therefore, a cross b the whole square is going to be a square b square sine square theta. And dot product a bar dot b bar is ab cos theta. So if you take squares, it's going to be a square magnitude of a square into magnitude of b square into cos square theta. And when you're going to add, the value of sine square theta plus cos square theta comes as 1. Therefore, addition of squares of cross product and dot product is equal to magnitude of a square into magnitude of b square. So this is given to us. Therefore this, and therefore I can say that value of sine theta is equal to cos theta, and therefore my value of theta is equal to 45 degrees. Because only at 45 degrees I can say that my sine 45 and cos 45 are same. Again, the relation is mentioned over here between your a cross b and ab. So if we use that relation, we have a formula which says that a cross b the whole square plus a dot b the whole square is equal to magnitude of a square into magnitude of b square into bracket of sine square theta plus cos square theta. However, value of sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So that is just equal to magnitude of a square into magnitude of b square. Substitute the value which is given to us in this particular question. Value of cross square and dot product square is given as 144. So substituting that, value of magnitude of a is also given as 4. The only unknown term is b. Substituting all the three values, we get magnitude of b. Therefore, I can say magnitude of b square is equal to 144 upon 16, which is 9. Therefore, b is equal to 3. Three vectors are given, a bar, b bar, and c bar, and we have to find the value of a cross b in terms of c. The options that I have are 7c, c, 5c, and 4c. So how can I get value of a cross b? Value of a cross b can be obtained by using determinant formula. Value of a cross b is ijk. Second row would be ax, bx, cx, and third row would be your bx, cx. So if I write my terms, my first row would be ijk, second row would be 2, 3, and 6, third row would be 3, minus 6, and 2. Just expand the determinant, we'll get an answer, and that answer compare it with the c vector which is given. If we get any relation, that is going to be my answer. Therefore, a cross b, directly use the determinant formula ijk, and the coefficients 2, 3, 6, then the coefficients of b bar 3, minus 6, and 2. Simplified, I get 42, 14, and minus 21. Compare it with c bar. C bar is 6, 2, and minus 3. So can I take anything common from 42, 14, and 21? Yes, I can take 7 common, and then I can replace the remaining term with c bar. So my answer is equal to 7c. Magnitude of a plus b is equal to magnitude of a minus b. And if a cross b is given as L into magnitude of a, then I have to find value of L term, which is equal to option A is magnitude of a, magnitude of b, 1 or 2. Whenever questions of this format are going to come, where you are given magnitudes of similar kind but difference in conjugates, For example, in this question, we have a plus b is equal to magnitude of a minus b. In most of these questions, you have to take squares and equate. So take square of a plus b, the whole square, that would be magnitude of a square plus magnitude of b square plus 2 into ab. Magnitude of a minus b, the whole square, would be magnitude of a square plus magnitude of b square minus of 2 times ab. However, both of these terms are equal. Therefore, I'm going to cancel out. The only remaining terms are going to be 2ab is equal to minus of 2ab. That would only be possible if my dot product is 0, that is ab is 0. And if my dot product is 0, I can say that the two vectors are going to be perpendicular to each other. So I get my theta in this case, which is 90. And then I'm going to substitute this theta in my cross product value. I want to find value of a cross b. Value of a cross b is magnitude of a into magnitude of b into sine of theta. We have already found out theta, which is 90. Therefore, sine 90 would be 1. Therefore, answer is magnitude a into magnitude b. Comparing, my answer is going to be equal to magnitude of b. Okay, so let's see the solution for this one. As I said earlier, whenever you are going to get conjugate terms, any relation is given, or it is given that they are equal, or it is given that they are scalar multiples of each other, go for squaring on both sides. Because when you are going to square on both sides, all the common terms will cancel out and you will get value of a dot b. Therefore, we are going to square on both sides. I'm going to get this a plus b the whole square minus of magnitude of a minus b square. And when I'm going to simplify, as I said, all other terms will cancel out. The only remaining terms would be 2ab is equal to minus of 2ab, which leaves me with, even if I cancel out 2 and 2, ab is equal to 0. If my dot product is 0, angle should be 90 or a bar should be perpendicular to b bar. If my angle is 90 and when I apply my cross product, I can say that my cross product formula is ab sine theta. Instead of theta, I substitute 90. So that is equal to ab. However, in my question, it is given that a cross b is equal to L into magnitude of a. And we got the value of magnitude of a into magnitude of b. So compare. Instead of L, we have magnitude b. Therefore, answer should be equal to L is equal to magnitude of b. Take a look at this question. Copy down if you want to copy anything. If you have any doubts till question number 5, you can ask me. You have 30 seconds for this. So Neha, Rutvik, Omkar, Pranali, are you getting this? Okay. Yes, from Pranali, Rutvik, Yash, and Neha. Good. Okay, we'll move forward. So in this particular case, dot product is given a bar dot b bar, which is also equal to a bar dot c bar. And your cross product is also equal. So a cross b is also equal to a cross c. Then you have 4 options. So we can approach this question in multiple ways. You can either start with your dot product formula, or you can start with your cross product formula, or you can also start with the relations, because dot product and cross product both are given to you. You can also say, compare your first given terms, which is a dot b is equal to a dot c. If I move a dot c on other side, I can say that a dot b minus of a dot c is equal to 0. Taking a common outside, I can say that a dot b minus c is equal to 0. The next term which was given to us is a cross b is equal to a cross c. Again, I can take a cross c on other side. Therefore, it will be a cross b minus of a cross c is equal to 0. Take a common. So a cross b minus c is equal to 0, which gives me values that either a should be 0 or my b and c term should be equal. Okay, so let's solve this. So as I said, from first term and second term, we are going to get these values. How did these values come? A dot b minus c is equal to 0. This value came from comparing your two dot products. A bar dot b is equal to a bar dot c. If I shift a dot c to other side and take a common, I'm going to get a bar dot b minus c is equal to 0. Similarly for c. And now multiplication of these two terms, a bar dot b minus c is 0. That means either my first term should be 0 or my bracket term should be 0. So if I say my first term is 0, that means either a should be 0, or if I say my second term, that is my bracket is 0, which means b minus c should be 0. If b minus c is 0, b should be equal to c. Therefore, option number is the correct answer. You can take a look at this. We have to simplify this term, a cross. So apply your commutative formula, open the brackets. Opening the brackets, I'm going to get a cross b plus a cross c plus b cross c plus b cross a plus c cross a plus c cross b. I'm having a cross b and b cross a. So instead of writing b cross a, I can write as b cross a is nothing but minus of a cross b, and then cancel out the terms. So all the terms will cancel out and I get my answer as 0. Now in our option we have first option is 0 bar and second option is 0. So which one is the correct answer? Notice that all of these are vectors, and whenever you're going to cancel, you're going to get a vector answer. So answer is going to be equal to 0 bar. If you had to find particular point, in that case, our answer would be 2, which was 0. Okay, let's see next question. If a cross I is j, then what is value of dot product? Again, you can solve this by using multiple methods. If I can say that a cross I is equal to j, then a is equal to, there would be a vector which satisfies the condition of a bar is equal to lambda I bar plus j bar. And then simplifying that condition, I can get the value of my scalar term lambda. So if lambda value is 0, my answer would be 0. If lambda value is 1, I can tick mark 1 as my answer. Another method to solve this would be consider your cross product and dot product. My cross product is a cross I, my dot product is a bar dot I bar. So if I square and add my cross product and dot product, I have a formula for that. My formula is a cross I square plus a bar dot I bar square is equal to magnitude of a square into magnitude of I square. Instead of b term, I have I term over here. So my final answer would be magnitude of a square into magnitude of I square. Magnitude of I square is equal to 1. Therefore, answer is equal to magnitude of A square. Now, value of A is not mentioned. Therefore, A can be any particular scalar term. Therefore, my answer would be 1, any scalar. So as I said, there are two methods. If you go by first method, you can get this answer, which is equal to lambda, and lambda can be any scalar. And if you go by second method, I'll share the green screen. Second method would give me magnitude of A square value. And as I don't know, or I don't have any particular value of A can be anything. Therefore, this value can be any scalar term. So let's get back to our presentation. Okay, let's next question. A bar and B bar are given, and it is also given that magnitude of A is equal to magnitude of A plus B is equal to individual magnitude. So magnitude of A plus magnitude of B. Then value of L is equal to question mark. So as I said previously, whenever some relation is given to you, you can square on both sides because squaring would simplify your values. Magnitude of A plus B, you can easily obtain that. You have values of A and B. So magnitude of A plus B would be I plus I, which is 2I, L plus 1J, and 1 plus 1, that is 2K. So simplifying, just compare the values and also square it on both sides because the values of magnitude would be in under root. So by squaring, I can ignore the under root sign, or the under root sign would be removed. Now, you can either simplify this and get the value of L, or another method would be you have 4 options. So instead of solving for L, you can directly substitute the value of L as in your first case, you can put -1. If answer is satisfied or LHS is equal to RHS, then my option 1 would be correct answer. Else I could substitute my 2, then I can substitute -2 and check. So substitution method would also work in this case. So there are 2 methods to solve this. Either you can simplify this by traditional method because only unknown term over here is L, you can get the answer. Or second method would be to substitute your answers in the equation and check whether LHS is equal to RHS. So on simplifying, you get your answer, which was 1 in this particular case. If A bar and magnitude of A bar is given, magnitude of B bar is given, A cross B is also given, I have to find value of A dot B. Again, you can use the relation between A cross B and A dot B. I know that A cross B the whole square plus A dot B the whole square is equal to magnitude of A square into magnitude of B square. I have all the terms except A bar dot B bar. Therefore, substituting the values, I will easily get value of my A bar dot B bar. We'll move on further. We'll see a few more questions. Okay. So the question over here is, the unit vector orthogonal to these two vectors minus I plus k and 2j minus of k, and forming a right-handed system is equal to question mark. The vector that we want is going to be a cross b upon magnitude of a cross b. So what we are going to need first, we'll need to find value of a cross b. I can get that easily from my determinant form, and then I can get the magnitude by applying my magnitude formula, which is under root of x square plus y square plus z square. So to understand these type of questions better, where you have a particular orthogonal vector or where a perpendicular is drawn or a right angle is formed in a triangle, consider this diagram. Consider that there is a triangle which is having its vertices as A, B, and C. If I draw a perpendicular from C to side AB, this is called as projection from side or from point C to my side AB. And the length of this projection, so length of this projection, suppose that it meets at point D, then this length or the length of projection can be obtained by using this formula. So it is projection of this vector on this vector. Therefore, my formula is AC bar dot AB bar upon, it is projection of C onto side AB. So the projection is upon side AB. Therefore, I'm going to divide by magnitude of AB. Therefore, length of AD is equal to dot product AC dot AB upon magnitude of AB. However, if I want to find the value of the length of perpendicular, that is, if I have to find the value of this term, that means, say, suppose I have to find value of length of CD. I can get the length of CD by using my cross product instead of using my dot product. So length of CD is going to be equal to CA vector multiplied or cross product with the projecting side, which is AB, and divide by the projection was onto side AB. Therefore, I'm going to divide by magnitude of AB. So the questions might come in this way. If you are asked to find the length of projection, so length of projection means length of AD, and length of AD I can get that by using my dot product formula. However, if you're asked to find the length of perpendicular which is formed, the length of perpendicular distance can be obtained by using my cross product formula, which is CA cross AB upon magnitude of AB. Is there any other way in which I can find my length of perpendicular? Can I find a length of CD in any other way? Yes. You can first find a length of AD by using your dot product. You can then find your AC if you have your coordinates of point A and C by using distance formula. And if you have two sides of triangle, AD and AC, applying hypotenuse square formula is equal to this square plus this square, you can get length of side CD. So there can be multiple ways to solve a question. If you use this formula, you will be directly able to solve. If the formula is not applicable because you don't have particular parameters. Instead of any particular vector is given, suppose endpoints are given or value of AC and AD is given. In that particular case, you could use hypotenuse square or right angle formula square. Okay, so is this point clear? Type in yes or no. Okay, yes from Ritik and Omkar. Yes from Yash. Others? Srushti is saying yes. Pranali, have you understood? Okay, then we saying yes. Perfect. So let's get back to our PPT. Consider that ABC are three vertices of a triangle and it is given that A cross B plus B cross C and C cross A. You have to find value of this term, whether value of this term is equal to 1 times area of triangle, 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times area of triangle. We know the formula for area of triangle, which is half into the sides AB and AC, and we already have the coordinates AB and C. Therefore, substituting, I'm going to get AB is nothing but B minus A, AC is C minus B. If I cross multiply this, I'm going to get B cross C. B cross B would be 0 minus of A cross C plus A cross B. Taking 2 to the other side, I can say that A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A is equal to 2 times area of my triangle. Remember this formula because it will be used in later on questions as a basic step. Therefore, I can say that area of a triangle is equal to half A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A, or value of the term A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A is 2 times area of my triangle. So this question is related to our previous question. Earlier we had 3 points. Now we are considering 4 points and we have to find the relation between AB, CD, BC cross this plus CA cross BD. Again, the method of solving would be the same. A cross AB bar would be B minus A, cross CD bar means D minus C. Find the cross product AB and AB cross CD. So AB is B minus A cross with D minus C. Open the two brackets. You are going to get this. And on simplifying, cancel out the negative terms. We get 2 times A cross B, B cross C, C cross A. And we had seen this term in previous question. Value of A cross B, B cross C, C cross A is nothing but 2 times area of triangle. And 2 is outside, so that becomes 2 to the 4 times area of triangle. So solving this type of question is very easy. All you have to do is write AB bar as B minus A, CD bar as D minus C, then take cross multiplication between the terms. Simplify. If any terms are same, cancel them out. If there are terms such as A minus B, another term is B minus A, then take minus sign, try to cancel out or try to add them. Whatever final answer you're getting, link that with a formula. In this case, we got 2 times A cross B, B cross C, and C cross A. we already knew that A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A is 2 times area of triangle. So my final answer is 4 times area of triangle. A and B is given to me. Also AB bar, or I can say my theta angle is given between these two vectors, which is pi by 3. So 180 by 360. Area of triangle is to be found out, which is having my sides, this and this. So we have a formula for area of triangle. Area of triangle is nothing but half into my cross product of sides, and sides is also given. So just substitute the values, this and this. When you're taking cross product, A cross 2A would be 0. Therefore, I have A cross B plus 4 times B cross A. If I invert B cross A, that would be minus of 4 times A cross B. So answer is A cross B minus 4 times A cross B. Cancel out. So I get half minus of 3 times A cross B. As you are finding area, you can remove the minus sign, and my answer would be 3 times of A cross B. And I have A cross B formula, which is AB sine theta. A is 3, B is 2, sine of theta, theta in this case is pi by 3. So sine of 60, which is root 3 by 2. So substituting, I get my answer as 9 root 3 upon 2. A and B are given with adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Then its vector area is equal to question mark. So vector area of a parallelogram is nothing but A bar cross B bar. So just apply a formula A bar cross B bar. Determinant formula is IJK. Then your A vector terms minus 1, 0, 1. B vector terms or B vector coefficients 0, 2, and minus 1. Simplify to get your answer. Area of triangle when you're having diagonals. Area of parallelogram is half D1 into D2 or D1 cross D2 when you have diagonals instead of sides of the parallelogram. So apply a formula half diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. We get an answer. Now in this particular case, diagonals were not given. A bar, B bar, C bar. The 3 vertices were given. So you can easily get your diagonals. So your first diagonal would be A plus B and your second diagonal would be B plus C. After the formula to get an answer. Area of the quadrilateral is asked. Similarly, similar to area of parallelogram, area of quadrilateral is going to be half into product of its diagonals. And already all the sides are given. AB is given, AD is given, AC is also given, MA plus NB. So just apply the formula. Area of triangle is equal to half AC into BD, the two diagonals. AC is given to you, which is MA plus NB. BD or the second diagonal is not given, but you can easily get BD by using your triangle law. Substitute and simplify. You can get your answer. Look at this. Let me know if you have any questions up to this point. Type in a yes if you have understood. Type in no or doubt if there is any doubt or if you have not understood. Okay, yes, from Omkar. Yes, from name. Okay, before we end the lecture, I want to know how many of you are also practicing this at home. Because no matter how many questions we do in this small session of 45 minutes, it won't be sufficient unless and until you go home and solve multiple questions from your side. So how many of you are practicing? Type in a yes if you are practicing at home. Okay, yes from Neha. Yes from Rutvik. So while you guys are practicing at home, there will be definitely some doubts that you are encountering, some questions which you can't solve, some formulas which you are not able to understand. So what you can do is you can make a list of those formulas, those questions, and you can ask in the next lecture. Don't let these doubts or questions pile up. If you want, we can arrange for a doubt session or a revision session or a session which particularly solves just your queries. So if you're interested in, say, suppose a doubt session, you can ask, we can arrange for that. Also, I want to ask one more thing. For JEE questions, is teaching with slides comfortable for you? Because when I'm teaching with slides, I'm more able to focus on the method of question rather than steps of the question. And also I can handle or I can teach multiple questions. Like in one particular lecture, we can easily solve around 15-20 questions. But if we solve each question by hand, say suppose I solve on green screen, then we won't be able to solve more than 5 questions of JEE level. So I want to ask if you are comfortable with the slides presentation or if you want me to teach with the green slides or the green screen. So I can write on the green screen and that would be visible to you, but that would be much slower. Okay, yes, it's saying green screen. Others? Neha is playing slides are good. Okay, slides. Mukari is saying green. Others can also respond if they are better understanding with slides. They can type in slides. Advantage of slides is that we can cover more number of questions and we can cover more on the method of solving rather than each step. If you are more comfortable with green screen has its own advantages. First advantage is that it is comparatively easier to understand. So there is no right or wrong. Just let me know if slides are more comfortable or green screen is more comfortable. So Tanvi is playing slides. What about others? Yash, Srushti is playing slides. Omkar has said. Pranali, Prathamesh, Yash, Neha. Okay, Neha has already said slide. Okay, slides from Tanvi and Srushti. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 options or 5 votes for slides, and we have green screen, 2 votes for green screen. Yes, she's saying green. Okay. Okay, so what we can do is, as Tushar sir is also said, I can start drawing on the slides itself wherever required. I'll edit the slides. Also, the starting lectures where I'm going to discuss theory, I would discuss that theory onto green screen, so that there is a balance between green screen and slides. So all the theoretical portion, the beginning portion formulas, that will be discussed on a green screen. And onto your slides, to better understand what I'm saying, I will draw diagrams on the slides itself, so you can understand from slides also more better. Okay, so let's conclude this session here. Tomorrow we'll again continue with vectors. We'll see a scalar triple product and vector triple product. Okay, thank you.